see, am I actually live streaming on here? Videos, playlists, just double checking, making sure videos are going live where they need to. Because I'm hoping to throw a link to one going live. Hey, yeah, there we go. All right. So, all right, share. A little slow this morning. Videos, playlists, just double checking, making sure video need to. Let's mute that. And as you can see, I do have a cat in the lap. This is Master Binks. So let's post that right there. Nope. That right there. Take that out and turn. Oh, that didn't work. There we go. Embedding, update. There we go. All right, let me check one more place. Facebook. Pretty sure I'm over there too already. If it picked up on YouTube, yep, I'm live now. All right, good. All right, let's drop that down. Let's close that one, and right there, and we are live. So, all right. Now, I am over on haps.tv right now, as you can see by the right there. And I got to get myself backwards. Yeah. Anyhow, so I'm I'm live. I'm trying this out. I know it's not. We're not all that. We're not down. We're not set completely yet, but we'll have some running out on to five different simulcasts, I guess you would call. So we're sitting over on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and one other place that would be Doc. So, so we're going to try this out. As I said, we got Binks in the lap here. He seems to be, it's time to snooze and relax a bit. And let's go ahead and let's get this party started, and let's show everybody or talk to everybody. First post or stream, I've done a few live streams on a couple other platforms, and they work. And I'm going to have to take myself off. You ever seen people who talk and their voice comes back delayed? Well, the HAPS video comes back a little delayed, and so really distracting because I see myself move about 3 seconds after I've done whatever hand movement. And so that's really distracting. So I'm gonna jump over to a different page just so that I don't have a delay. So, but anyhow, I am Brian Goodwin. I am a men's coach over at Relaxed Male. Relaxed Male is a men's site that helps men to generate the confidence, the strength, and the integrity needed to be leaders in today's society. Now, when I say leaders, yeah, we're talking about I have 4 pillars, and there's the man's body, mind, spirit, and community. Now, and when you're a leader, it's not just your state. You're, take a role in politics. Leadership can be a role in your family. A lot of times us guys have gotten around to where we actually abdicate our leadership roles to other people, and that really just doesn't work for society. And so I like to try to make sure that I show people and help them to understand what being a man is about and how to embrace their masculinity. And so that's a lot of what I like to talk about. And what it takes to be a man, because there's so much wrong information about what a strong man is, what a masculine man is. They think that it's just that alpha male that runs around and beats his chest. It's the macho jerk, or as Triple Near also says, and there's or the, a lot of people are going to the extreme. Instead of being this butt nugget, they're being this wimp dude. And so it doesn't work when you're in those extremes. You have to be on a completely different level. And when it comes to being able to leadership and be able to provide and care for your family, your friends, your community, your neighborhood, and all that, you can't be a weak person. People don't look at weak people as leaders. Now, inherently, people do turn to the man in the room. If there's only one guy and there's a bunch of kids and some women, if something happens, they instinctually look towards the men. So the men have a role. We've had a role for thousands of years, since we have been roaming around on the plains and looking for caves to rest in. And that's just how a lot of how we have become. It's not because you hear stuff about the patriarchy and things like that. That's not the case at all. Because along with the patriarchy, there's also a matriarchy. And I don't know if you've ever been in a Southern woman's house. You don't walk on a floor that's been freshly mopped. I see big burly men scared to death to walk on a freshly mopped floor. Women have just as much power as men, and sadly, today's society, a lot of people don't do that. So, what I wanted to talk today is about what is a strong man, what is a weak man, and why is that important? And the reason why that's important is because strong men make good times. Good times, though, on the sad part, make weak men. Weak men make hard times, which make strong men. So it is kind of cyclical. I've heard it phrased another way, and I believe it goes. Shoot, no, I just dribbled completely out of my ear. I can't even remember how it actually goes. Something about prosperity makes abundance. Abundance leads to depression. Depression leads to anyhow. It's a cyclical thing, and I'm slaughtering it. So we're not going to even worry about any more. The best way to describe it is strong men make good times. Good times make weak men. Weak men make for hard times. So why is this important? Well, just basically, I want to be able to set the bar and let people know what it is that is important. Why I want to talk about being a strong, confident, integrity-driven man, and that's because sadly, I see a lot of an attack on what masculinity is. A lot of people have taken the victim mindset at what a man is and have thrown around. You have people who are saying that the evils of the patriarchy again, that the misconceptions of that. It's along the same lines as what the misconceptions of capitalism are, thinking that men are just out, beating our chest and whooping up on a woman that they find attractive, and that's honestly not the case. A strong man. Well, let's jump into there. Let's start with the weak guy, and then we'll finish off on the positive. So, what makes a man weak? Well, first off, most of the time they don't have integrity. That is probably one of the bigger things. They say things, they don't walk the walk. They are all talk, all hat and no beef, as it's as it's often referred to in Texas. Guys, they can talk a good game, but when the fit hits the shan, yeah, there's nothing there. They have a weak man often looks at stuff through the lens of a victim. And if you read anything that I've thrown up on my blog over at relaxedmale.com, you'll see that victim who are anybody who plays the victim, in all reality, they don't generate any type of respect. And that may sound a bit rough or a bit harsh, but even the people who are helping them are just helping them. They're not giving them respect. They're not giving them any type of dignity. Now, there's people who are so buried in the depths of the despair that the moment you're able to help them up, they see their worth and then they're able to climb out. But a lot of people who are in the depths of a victim mindset stay there because it honestly becomes very comfortable to have other people come by and take care of you and nurture you and and baby you and things like that, and not quite nurture, because nurturing often requires you to do things that cause the other person to become uncomfortable, and the victim doesn't like to be uncomfortable. And that's one thing that a weak man always is doing, is they're pursuing comforts. They're not pursuing getting out of their comfort zone, growing and expanding, which is one thing that strong men actually do. When it comes to being a leader, you can really notice a weak man, because they're the ones who take the role and see the power, and they take it for just the sake of the power, not the fact that they're trying to get something done. It's, I've got the power. I am the boss, and you hear people who are berating employees and just and they use the moniker, well, adults and have done this to kids. I'm the adult. I'm the parent. Yeah, that may be true, but trying to use that as a means of motivating fear into your son or into your employees doesn't work. Yeah, you might be able to threaten them to be fired, but it's not going to actually inspire them to follow you. Yep. No. Oh, no, you're just going to turn around. Okay. And it's not going to inspire. It's not going to bring inspiration. A true leader, a good leader, will actually inspire their guys to actually work for their own advantage. They're not intimidated by somebody who outperforms them, because they know that guy, they have the best. And if that guy can actually outperform another person, great. That means that they're doing the role that they were meant to do. And a strong man is very confident with that, while a weak man will often try to sabotage a high performer. He doesn't want anybody to outperform him. If they outperform him, he starts to get into a scarcity mindset and thinks, well, people are going to look at me as not being good enough, and you're going to take this role that I have. And because of that scarcity mindset and playing the victim of, this guy's going to steal from me, coming from a place of scarcity and place of fear, he's not going to he's not going to be a leader. That weak man is going to be a boss, and there's a huge difference between the two. When something doesn't go wrong, a weak man will actually throw the blame around. Well, it was Nelson's fault. Nelson didn't get his report done in time. Instead of going, instead of owning his dirt and taking responsibility for, I wasn't on top of Nelson like I needed to. And instead of taking and owning all that responsibility, they point blame. They don't take responsibility for their actions. And that's where the victim mindset comes to, because the victim doesn't take responsibility for his actions. One of the bigger issues that have come up here recently that I've noticed is that weak men actually work towards for the collective. They sacrifice themselves, which sounds to fly in the face of the whole responsibility thing that I just talked about. But in all reality, it goes hand in hand. They sacrifice their own dignity to blame and or their own dignity and integrity to blame another person. They are sacrificing what little they have to make sure that they don't get the blame. So they look better. A people pleaser in all aspects in reality is a weak man. So is that macho jerk, the guy who's on the direct opposite line of that particular spectrum. The people pleaser is always out to try to make sure he makes everybody like him. He manipulates people so that he feels good. He can't handle the anxiety of not of somebody not liking him, while the jerk can't stand the anxiety of somebody liking him. And so he, it's just the way it is type of guy. And my throat is all of a sudden dry. So they flock to the collective. They can, because there's more people for them to actually, they can kind of get themselves lost in that whole area of being in a collective. So it's not their fault. It was somebody else who dropped the ball. Somebody wasn't doing something right. And so it wasn't their fault. They were just doing what they were supposed to do. And taking and sacrificing their happiness and their joy to give to a collective. Like I said, they shower responsibility. They sacrifice. They sacrifice themselves. They sacrifice who they love. A lot of times they will, if the wife is not doing something that the guy thinks should be done, doesn't actually have a conversation, doesn't build that connection, but he actually will jump on her and bark at her and scold her. I was trying to think of the word. My brain's just not. I've only had 2 cups of coffee. I need more. And because he actually operates in a place of fear, he's always worried about what else is going to be coming at him. And he has to take more things and throw at whatever monster he is afraid of. Oh yeah, I know. My leg's falling asleep, so I need to spin you. Okay, well, deal with it. So let's see. I'm gonna look over here real quick and comments. We have any comments? No. Yep. Hey, Rich said that I was live on Facebook. Awesome. So, all right. So when it comes to being since we know what a weak man is, so what does it actually take to actually be a man of strength, a man of integrity? Well, the first thing is there is a line of humility, and it's not that you're not humiliated, which a weak man will actually take that to mean. I forgot to turn my phone on silent. Isn't to be a lot of weak men will actually fear humility because they actually think that it's being humiliating, and there's 2 big differences in that. A man who is strong, he actually looks at and can be humble, and he actually will give the credit to who the credit's due. He has no problem pointing to Jones, who just went off and was working 12 hours a day. He came in, 2 hours early, left 3 hours late to make sure that this whatever project got done. While also strong men don't worry about what they say as in the means of hurting another person, because they understand that emotions are felt just by themselves. Let me explain what I'm trying to say, because that didn't come out right the way I wanted it to. Emotions are felt only by the person who's feeling them. So if you're angry, only you're feeling anger. You can be angry all you want over at your wife. She's not feeling that anger. She may see the actions that you take and interpret that as being you're angry, or she may just see the actions that you take and take it as you being sleepy and you just need to go to bed because you're grumpy. She may take the actions and just think you're just you're having an off day. You has no idea why you're angry. And the same goes for you. Your wife may be just all sorts of elated for you, but she's doing stuff to get you to show that she's happy for you, and you're taking those gifts as why is she maybe giving you like a new something new, giving you a gift of some sort or another, and she may do that as a means to show you, hey, she loves you and that she's happy to be around you, and you're taking that gift and seeing why is she spending money on me? I don't need to have money being spent on me, and that's where the uh, uh, whole aspect of love languages come into play. But still, we take different emotions and we interpret well. We take actions or say a scenario like the wife giving you presents. That's just a circumstance. And that circumstance, that act, it leads to a thought. And that thought is, well, she's spending too much money, or wow, she really loves me. You can have a thought for whatever circumstance it is. You can actually choose what thought it is and be okay with that changed thought. A good example of that is going into movies. You and a friend going into movies, y'all can see the exact same movie at the exact same time and come out having two completely different thoughts on what that movie actually is. It could be that, hey, that was a horrible movie, or hey, that was an amazing movie. That is completely independent upon who you are. So your thoughts are yours. They're not your friends. They're not your wives. They're not your kids. They're not your bosses. They're nobody else's thoughts. Your thoughts create your emotions. So you can choose to actually be happy. You can be mad about a situation. You can choose to be scared. You can choose to be all sorts of different scenarios. Whatever emotion that you have, you can have any emotion. So a when a man is seeing somebody having a good day, he can appreciate that the work that the guys put into, but he's not going to worry about irking somebody off. He's actually going to have the ability to think critically and not worry about what other people are going to think of what he says. I can say what I want, and I can go off and make whatever assumption of like what happened this last week, and I can have my own personal thought on it, and I can say what my thoughts are on it, and I can either muddle the words and play it small and say kind of what I mean, but not entirely what I mean, or I can actually just state what my thoughts are on that, and I'm not going to share that on here because it's not what this particular uh, broadcast is about. We're talking just about what makes a strong man strong and a weak man weak. A strong man will actually take charge. If he sees something needs to be done, he will jump in. He will take responsibility. If it gets screwed up, all right, so be it. If it fails, you know what? I learned something. He takes the whole learning aspect of what is happening around him, and whatever action he takes, he's going to take responsibility for that action. He is going to take charge. He sees that his wife is struggling trying to get groceries out of the Jeep. Well, guess what? He's going to run out there. I have a Jeep, by the way, so that's why I refer to everybody drives a Jeep for me. But runs out to the Jeep and helps her with the groceries while she's struggling trying to hold on to Junior's hand at the same time, because he's wanting to go run around the yard before he has to go inside and take a nap. So may have had a frazzling day, and you can see what's going on and take charge of different items that are actually needing to be taken care of. Um, Quite the opposite of a weak man. A strong man actually leads uh, his team instead of trying to boss them into doing whatever they're doing. He finds ways to inspire his men to be the best instead of berating them to be mediocre. He wants them to be best. Let them excel beyond what he's capable of doing. They have better skills of doing something, and he knows that. He has the ability to be able to rally the troops together, get them facing all in the same direction, and march to for a particular topic. And while he's able to do that, he's making strides. He's doing something that other people aren't able to do. So he's able to lead, and he inspires that, and has a inspiring leadership ability. Um, Instead of sacrificing their loved ones, they protect. They will often strong men will actually uh, do what it takes to actually protect their family. That's why a lot of times uh, you will see men who essentially fall on their swords for their wife, their son. I mean, that can be a a noble thing to a point, but like if your son has say wrecked stolen your car and or stolen somebody's car and wrecked it, to try to protect your son from that experience may not actually be doing the best thing. He actually having your son actually face the responsibility of his actions is actually something that is more, but he's protecting his family because he's making sure that his son takes that responsibility, becomes the strong man. You're actually protecting the integrity of the family by actually taking the time to pay attention to what the outcomes are. You protect, yeah, you're protecting from intruders into your home. That's one, but you're also protecting keeping a lookout for your neighborhood and things like that. So you're actually going and getting to know your neighbors and understanding who they are and getting to develop a relationship with them, which is something that a lot of times these days people have a hard time actually doing. And another one is strong men provide. They understand that you have to go out and leave your cave. You have to go out, find that dinosaur, club them on the head, drag it back to the cave for the family. You have to be able to provide for your family. That means bringing in money and sitting around wondering where you're going to get another meal, or waiting for, say, the government to provide you food stamps and things like that. It's not a strong way of actually living a man's life, and being where you're waiting and being dependent upon another person is again being part of a collective. While a strong independent man will actually go out. He realizes he just got fired yesterday because he really messed up. So he's, instead of sitting on his butt, feeling sorry for himself, he gets up, dusts himself off, and blazes a trail. Goes out and finds another job, gets anything. He realizes at the moment is just bring money in, bring some income in, not try to get a job that pays the same amount. You can do that later. But first get some type of income coming in, and from there get back up into keep finding something else, because a desperate man just stinks. And if you're desperate, you're not going to find that job. You're not going to make that sale that you need to make. So you're not going to be as trustworthy. So men are interesting creatures. I mean, I've always said us guys are very simple men, but we have complex lines of acting, and we are trying to navigate this society today in such a way that makes it tough for a lot of people to actually see. And hey, we've got a Facebook user that asked, so what do you recommend for getting out of people pleasing mindset? I'm going to get to that here real quick. Let me get this wrapped up. So being a man, a strong man, is tough, especially if you are somebody who is not used to stepping up to the role. But the one of the great things about doing that is you're doing something that the weak man would never do, and that is getting himself out of the comfort zones instead of sitting around watching Netflix on the couch eating a bag of Doritos. He's looking for getting out and meeting people. He is doing the things that really are not that comfortable. He's taking that leap of faith a lot of times, and so that's one of the bigger differences between what a strong man and a weak man are. So now I've got got one question by just a Facebook user. It says, what do you recommend for getting out of the people pleasing mindset? People pleasers are, like I said before, they're very uh, they're pushing themselves to make sure that they manipulate other people, and it can be tough because a person who is stuck in people pleasing can really be a, a a a sad place to be. If you really want to, one of the probably the easy, I'm going to say to start off with, and it's not easy, but it's a way to start getting out of the victim mindset is read No More Mr. Nice Guy by, oh, I'm not prepared for that. So let me get that pulled up. Amazon.com. I can't remember his actual author's name. I'm up here. And my computer decided to take, why it has to, Amazon. I got, all right. No More Mr. Nice Guy. These are two. There we go. And yeah, Dr. Robert Glover is actually the guy, the author of that particular book, and he's got a lot of interesting insights as to why a people pleaser is really kind of a miserable person, because he works so hard to make sure that he has everybody be happy and with them, and they really stop caring about about themselves. So if you're wanting to start off, say what's on your mind. That's probably one of the hardest things for you to actually do. If you want to stop being a people pleaser, you don't have to say it in a jerk mode, but take a stand on something. Make a stand on, well, like, are you here's take a stand. If you are out on a date going out on a date with a girl, and you ask her, hey, what do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? She goes, oh, I don't know. You choose. Okay, she actually took that choice, gave it to you, so you choose. Don't sit there and go, oh well, I really just don't care. You go ahead and choose. She gave that opportunity to make a choice, and that's why a lot of times the guy who ends up being a jerk often gets the girl, is because at least he's taking an action. Now, he may not give a rat's butt about what she actually thinks about going to eat at Hooters, but, and that might be the only place that he'll ever take her to, but he's at least making a stand. He's actually not trying to people please to go, yeah, and him and Ham be all mealy mouth. Practice talking assertively is another way to actually stop being a nice guy, because nice guys talk in a very passive manner, while jerks, they talk in a very aggressive manner. Then there is the combination of the jerk who doesn't want to be thought of as a jerk, so he's a very people pleasing jerk, and that makes him talk in a very passive aggressive manner. while strong men speak in aggressive man, and not aggressive, not authoritative. Um, oh, well, good. It starts with an A. Assertive. It speaks in a very assertive tone, in an assertive manner. They say, "Man, we've got to get this done. We have to get before we don't need to be working on this project right now. I need you guys to look and figure this problem out first. You say where you need to go, and you actually state what's on your mind. You don't just kind of hem and haw and go, well, this thing's kind of okay, but it's whatever you want, dear." That right there is where people pleasing actually gets you into most trouble. So, any other uh, questions that you would like to ask? So, while we're kind of wrapping this up, and give a couple more moments, and we will. We'll go ahead and close this out. So, anybody else? Anybody got a question? I see that we've got at least 8 people watching, which is way cool. I'm glad. Thank you very much, you 8 folks, for watching and stopping by and seeing what the Relaxed Males message is about. I'm actually going to be trying to make sure I set these off every Saturday, 9 o'clock. We're going to keep pushing this and see how I can do. It may end up that I end up using that phone from time to time, because who knows, I might be out on a job or traveling or something like that. And if we're traveling, then I'll probably just set it up on the hood of the car and just do one from the television, or from outdoors. So I see my television in the background here, right there. So anyhow, so guys, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let you go. Thank you again for watching, and we will talk to you a bit next week. How about that? If you want more information before I actually close, if you want any more information about what I do, read some of my stuff, I've also got a podcast. Hey, you're welcome there, Facebook user. Glad to help you out. Go to relaxedmale.com, and I've got the podcast there. I've got blog posts, and now you're going to start seeing these live videos being posted up on there too. So guys, y'all take care. Thanks again for listening and watching and visiting and seeing me. And it makes it really cool that I actually had 8 people here. So, so guys, y'all take care. Have an incredible rest of the weekend, and we will see you next week. Till then, bye.